USC going to Oregon College game day, going to be there for the second time this year in Eugene. I can't wait for this one. This one's going to be awesome. A couple early thoughts on this game for you. Before we get to that, though, make sure you're subscribed if you're a USC fan, if you're an Oregon fan. We've covered y'all both very closely, I would say, throughout the duration of this season. It's going to be a playoff kind of atmosphere, I would have to imagine, in Autzen. USC, they're playing for their playoff lives. I can't wait for this one. So make sure you're subscribed. We'll have reactions. We'll have breakdowns, all that. But some early thoughts on this one. I want to start with USC. I want to make sure we get this said out loud. There is a formula there for USC to win the football game. I expect this line to be right around a touchdown, give or take, favoring the Ducks. But USC, look at how Oregon got beat this year against Indiana. I'm not suggesting that USC is as good up front as Indiana is, but the way that Indiana beat Oregon was applied pressure to Dante Moore, forced turnovers, won perimeter matchups. Now, sprinkled in there was a little bit of a run game from Indiana as well, with inside zones going downhill with Big Hemby. But all that's to say, perimeter matchups, USC, check that box with flying colors. Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, two of the best in college football. Mekhi Lemon might be the best in college football, not named Jeremiah Smith. In terms of applying pressure, top 15 sack rate in college football for USC. Okay, check that box. Creating turnovers, taking it away right around twice a game, is USC top 30 in America. So you see where I'm going with this. Even though USC is not going to be favored, do not convince yourself for a second that there's not a path for USC to winning this football game, all right? If you've watched USC to this point in the year, you know that's a reality. You know that's possible for them, especially given the Iowa win. I think the Iowa win, too, could be a little extra confidence boost for the Trojans. All the things said about you not belonging in the Big Ten, Lincoln Riley's a soft West Coast guy, it's a soft West Coast football team, whatever was said doesn't matter now. Because now you have, I think, effectively had your Big Ten card stamped if you're USC. You won a gross weather game against Iowa, won a weird, wonky game at Nebraska, outrushed Michigan. You belong, USC. Go take it in Autzen would be the thing that I'm saying if I'm Lincoln Riley to my football team before you get it on and popping. Now that's the question. Can you go take it? If you're USC, I think you have – I want to be careful how I say this because I don't think USC has been underrated by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think USC has been a touch sneaky. You're not sneaking up on Oregon in this spot. They see you coming. College game day, like I mentioned, USC, we'll see what they're ranked when those rankings come out on the Tuesday reveal show. But USC is very much so in the spotlight now. If you're USC, that's why you go to USC, to be clear. But the element of surprise isn't going to be there when you go play Oregon. So my question is, can you handle the spotlight? Can you be composed with the stakes of this game, with your college football playoff hopes on the line, all that? My thought is, if I'm USC, this is house money to begin with. Like, I don't think anyone had this year written in Sharpie as the playoff year for Lincoln Riley and company. That was going to be maybe next year, maybe a couple years down the line when you got that number one ranked recruiting class in-house. It could be this year, but you got to handle the moment. You got to be able to make the plays when the stakes are the highest, which is cliche, but in this spot against a really good Oregon team at their place, it's going to matter. Now for Oregon, can you hit the gas if you need to offensively is my question. If you're an Oregon fan, you're like, JD, have you not watched the Ducks, bro? 50-piece in Rutgers, 40-piece in Minnesota. I mean, they're still talking about what we did to Oklahoma State early in the year. Like, yeah, we got the juice offensively. Why do you ask? Well, I asked that for a couple of reasons. One, USC and their offensive firepower, if you can't totally contain them, is just something to account for here. All right, I think that's very much so within the realm of possibility that USC scores some points in this spot. Oregon against ranked teams has not been the most potent outfit. Like, look at it this way. Scored 18 points against Iowa. I get it was horrific weather, but still, less than 20. Okay, scored 20 points against Indiana. Good Indiana defense. But you hear what I'm saying. We're sensing a trend here. Even against Penn State, where you scored 30 points in the ball game, you scored 17 in regulation. So I'm not here trying to plant this seed of, Oregon's got problems offensively. I'm just saying, Dante Moore, Decorian Moore, Kenyon Sadiq, we need more of what we've seen against the Rutgers of the world, against the Minnesotas of the world, like Will Stein. It's going to take a deep-in-the-bag sort of game plan, I think, to apply pressure to the opposite side of things for Jad Mayava, get them pressing, get them chasing points, would be the way that you want to live. Curious to see what we see from Oregon in this spot when it comes to answering that call. Now, I also think we have to ask this question when it comes to Oregon. It's a great opportunity to check the growth on the Ducks. How much have they improved since that Indiana loss? Because I think they have improved. I think that Iowa win in Oregon's own right was a massive character builder. I think it spoke volumes to what Dante Moore is psychologically. I think it spoke volumes to the way this team is able to rally when they don't have their best offensive weapons in the lineup with Sadiq and Decorian Moore. But Oregon, if they get beat the same way they got beat against Indiana, which is turnovers and not being able to protect Dante Moore and not able to win those perimeter matchups on the defensive side of the football, it won't ruin Oregon's season. Like Oregon, I would be shocked. Like I would be absolutely floored if Oregon misses the college football playoff. However, if they lose this game, I think it's kind of an eyebrow raiser of, okay. So now we have two separate instances, more than likely, if USC wins the game, how I think they could or would win the game, rather. Okay, so this is kind of the way to beat Oregon. The blueprint is pretty cut and dry. And they haven't been able to fix that since the Indiana game, and now we're going into the final month of the season, and they still haven't fixed it against a lesser talented USC team. Interesting. So, again, Oregon will be favored. Oregon will be defending home turf. They will be, I have to imagine, locked in for this one, knowing how Dan Lanning operates. I cannot wait for the if Oregon wins, cinematic recap of this one, because I'm sure the Oregon creative team will give us an inside look at Dan Lanning's meeting room discussion. It'll be absolutely awesome. So make sure you're subscribed right here. We'll have a ton of content for you around this game this week. I can't wait for this one. USC, Oregon, game day, Eugene, going to be awesome. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Heck, give me a final score prediction for USC and for Oregon. Give me a final score prediction ahead of Week 13's action in this one. All right, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Cato on the ones and twos. Myself, Jody Pickell, going to keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.